The coffee was warm when he handed it to me. That detail shouldn't matter, but it does, because I keep coming back to it. The fire had been burning for a while by then, the night was cold, and the coffee in that tin cup was genuinely warm, not lukewarm, warm, like someone had just made it. I have tried to explain why that bothers me. I cannot. I've been backpacking across America for 6 years. Not the kind with trail apps and curated sunsets. The real kind, where you walk 15 miles because the next town is 15 miles away, and you sleep wherever the night finds you. You get used to reading places the way other people read faces. Which gas stations feel safe after dark? Which campgrounds have that particular quality of quiet that means nobody's been through in a while? Which stretches of highway feel like they want to keep you? After enough time moving through the country slowly, you start to understand something that maps don't show you. There is an America underneath the regular one, and sometimes out on some empty road or in the middle of a forest that goes on longer than it should. Something from that underneath America crosses paths with you. The first time I felt it, I was outside Flagstaff. I'd been trying to hitch a ride for almost an hour at a gas station that looked more like a memory of a gas station than an actual one. Half the sign lights burned out. No other cars. The clerk inside hadn't spoken to me besides pointing toward the back for the bathroom key. An older white sedan slowed and stopped. The woman behind the wheel was maybe in her 70s. Gray hair, small frame, light blue sweater, both hands resting very neatly on the wheel, the way people do when they've been told to look harmless. The inside of the car smelled like lavender and dust. Not dirty, just old in a way that felt preserved, like something kept under glass. She asked where I was going. I told her. She said she could take me part of the way. Then the usual questions. Then she asked if I was married. I said no. She asked if I had a girlfriend. No. She nodded slowly. She told me her grandson was the same way. Never stayed in one place. His name was Barry. She told me Barry had disappeared, years ago now. Then she said I had his eyes. Her hand touched my forearm before I understood why I was pulling back. Her skin was the kind of cold that doesn't come from weather. That was the last normal thing that happened. At a red light ahead, she turned toward me, and the eyes she'd been using to look at me were gone. Not damaged, not closed. Gone. Black hollows where something should have been. I was out of the car before I could think. I stood on the curb watching it sit motionless through a green light. Then it rolled forward and drove into the dark ahead until the taillights faded. No turn, no exit, just gone. That night I found an old article. A missing student named Barry Collins disappeared outside Flagstaff in 1987. His photograph looked enough like me that I closed the laptop and didn't open it again until morning. I told myself the road had been making me see things. I almost believed it. 2 months later, in Nevada, I got into a pickup truck with a man named Dennis. Late 50s, gray stubble. 3 radios mounted near the center console, which should have told me something. He drove west through open desert while the last light disappeared behind the mountains. He asked normal questions at first. Then they shifted. Had I seen lights in the sky? Had I ever woken somewhere and not known how I got there? He said a lot of people disappear in Nevada every year, and that it wasn't always dehydration. There was a rifle on the back seat under a blanket. He asked how long I'd been awake. Then, without warning, he pulled a flashlight from under the seat and pointed it directly into my face. He leaned close, studying something in my expression. Then he said quietly that he knew he shouldn't have stopped. I opened the door while the truck was still moving. The gravel tore through my palms and my knee, and I lay on the shoulder in the dark while his brake lights burned red ahead. He didn't come back. He drove west and disappeared. 6 months later, I found a missing persons flyer in a Utah diner. Dennis Warren. His truck had been found abandoned outside Tonopah. No sign of Dennis anywhere. I still wonder what he saw out there, whether he found it or it found him. And then there was Montana. The part I have never told anyone fully. I found the campground by accident, deep in a stretch of forest north of Missoula. 3 sites. 2 empty. The third had a fire going and a family around it. And the father waved me over before I could decide whether to keep walking. They were normal, completely, thoroughly normal. The father talked about fishing nearby streams. The mother asked about my travels with the quiet attention of someone who had nowhere else to be. Their daughter colored at the picnic table and held up her drawing, trees beside a lake, and waited for me to say something nice about it. I noticed small things but let them go. Their gear looked old, not worn out. Just from a different era, the way furniture looks when it's been in a family too long to feel wrong. Their clothes fit slightly off for the decade, but I was tired. My legs ached from hiking all day. The fire was warm, and the coffee the father handed me was warm. Around midnight, after the family had gone into their tents, a ranger came through on a routine check. He looked at the tents and asked what family. I pointed. He walked over and opened them. Empty. Both tents perfectly arranged inside. Sleeping bags unzipped. A child's stuffed animal near a pillow. The daughter's crayons still spread across the picnic table exactly where she'd left them. Everything in place except the people. The ranger found a wallet near the lantern. He looked at the driver's license inside for a long time before handing it to me. The photograph matched the man who had given me coffee. The issue date read 1951. He put me in his truck and we drove back toward town, and he kept both hands very tight on the wheel. After a long while he said, "A family went missing from that campground in 1952. Parents and a daughter. They were never found." I looked up the case the following morning. The names matched, all 3 of them. 3 people who had been gone for over 70 years were sitting around a fire last night. One of them handed me a cup of coffee that was warm. I drank it. I sat with them for hours. And none of it felt wrong until it was too late to understand what I had been sitting next to. That's the part I keep returning to. Not the fear of it, the warmth of it. The way it felt, before I knew, like the most comfortable I'd been in weeks. I don't know what to do with that.